Resident Evil returns, and if you're looking to jump into the series for the first time, you might be wondering what the hell is going on. Here's a quick and very condensed synopsis of the main Resident Evil story and everything you'll need to know leading into Resident Evil Village. The following contains spoilers. You have been warned.
Resident Evil 0.
July 23rd, 1998. Raccoon City's police STARS Bravo team is dispatched to investigate murders in the Arklay Mountains, but crash before they can reach it. Survivor Rebecca Chambers makes her way towards a spooky-looking nearby mansion in an effort to find the rest of Bravo team.
Resident Evil.
The STARS Alpha team is dispatched to find out what happened to the Bravo team. The search leads Jill Valentine, Chris Redfield, Barry Burton and the team leader Albert Wesker to the Spencer mansion. The gang split up and discover the horrible fates of the other STARS members and find Rebecca Chambers still alive. Jill and Chris eventually uncover that the Umbrella Corporation, a pharmaceutical company and all-round shady business, was behind illegal experiments resulting in the horrors that are roaming the mansion's halls. The team eventually discovers that Wesker is a traitor. He infects himself with the strain of the T-virus in order to give him the edge and unleashes the new super weapon, the Tyrant. This backfires though, as Wesker is fatally injured by the Tyrant, and after taking down the monster, the team eventually escape the facility. The STARS team return to Raccoon City and decide to go rogue and investigate the Umbrella conspiracy. Chris heads off to Europe solo and Jill stays in the city to learn more about Umbrella.
Resident Evil 3.
In September 1998, Raccoon City becomes overrun with zombies. Umbrella sees the outbreak as an opportunity to test its new bioweapon and sends down the experimental Nemesis tasked to kill off all STARS members. While Jill tries to survive the outbreak despite Nemesis hot on her heels, rookie RPD officer Leon S. Kennedy and Chris Redfield's younger sister Claire both arrive in Raccoon City.
Resident Evil 2.
After being separated following a car accident, Leon and Claire agree to meet up at the police department. Unfortunately, the building is also infested by zombies. Claire runs into Sherry Birkin, a young girl being pursued by a monstrous widow who turns out to be her dad and Umbrella leading scientist William Birkin. Turns out Billy B had planned to betray Umbrella and sell his new G-Virus, but was gunned down before he could do so. Before dying, William managed to infect himself with the G-Virus and allowed the virus to spread into Raccoon City through the water system. Nice one, Willie. Meanwhile, Leon runs into Ada Wong, an FBI agent who's looking to obtain the G-Virus to prove Umbrella's corruption. In the sewers, Leon and Ada run into William's wife, Annette, who's not a big fan. Leon and Ada chase her into the secret Umbrella underground facility called Nest in pursuit of the G-Virus. Claire also arrives at Nest in search for the vaccine for a now infected Sherry. Leon manages to obtain the G-Virus sample but runs into William, who in his freakish form mortally wounds his wife. Annette tells Leon that Ada is actually a mercenary who's looking to sell the G-Virus to the highest bidder. Ada demands the G-Virus, but before Leon can hand it over, Annette shoots Ada. She falls to her death, dropping the G-Virus sample. Claire finds the vaccine and gives it to Annette to cure her daughter while she tangles with William. Sherry is cured, but Annette eventually dies of her injuries. The facility is set to self-destruct, and Claire and Sherry board a train to escape with Leon. With Nest destroyed, the crew finally manage to escape the nightmare and on the outskirts of Raccoon City vow to continue their fight against Umbrella.
Resident Evil 3.
Elsewhere in Raccoon City, Jill Valentine is infected with the T-virus. Fortunately, Carlos Oliveira, a merc hired by Umbrella, is on the scene to not only cure Jill but help find the vaccine. At this point, our heroes find out the unfortunate news that the US government plans to wipe out Raccoon City with a missile strike, hoping to eradicate the infection. Carlos and Jill head to another underground lab, this time creatively called Nest 2. Unfortunately, Nemesis is still alive and very much in pursuit. Jill and Carlos take out the abomination once and for all, and with the vaccine sample in hand manage to escape the city before the missile strikes. Unfortunately, Nikolai, Carlos's former colleague turned secret operative, is waiting and manages to destroy the vaccine vial. Jill and Carlos take down Nikolai, leaving him for dead, and escape just before the missile arrives to completely floor Raccoon City for good. And as expected, our heroes vow to take down Umbrella.
Resident Evil.
3 months after escaping from Raccoon City, Claire Redfield, in search for her brother Chris, attempts to raid the European facility before being captured. Claire is taken to an island prison commanded by Alfred Ashford, the grandchild of one of the founders of Umbrella. An outbreak occurs, of course, and after being freed, Claire gets to work looking for Chris and escaping the island. With there being no sign of Chris, Claire escapes on a plane. Ashford, who it turns out has split personality disorder and often believes himself to be his twin sister Alexia, takes control of the plane remotely and crashes it into another Umbrella facility, this time in Antarctica. It's also worth noting that during the crash, Claire spends a period unconscious here, during which she has a dream that turns out to be the plot of Resident Evil Survivor 2. Weird. Alfred has also flown over in a quest for revenge, and after he's fatally wounded, he frees his sister Alexia, who is cryogenically frozen and riddled with a new virus called T. Veronica. Meanwhile, back on Rockford Island, wouldn't you know it, but Chris has shown up looking for Claire. Instead though, he runs into his old pal Wesker, who's still alive, super strong, and on a mission to find the T. Veronica sample. They both make their way to Antarctica, and Chris finally reunites with Claire, who then defeats a now very powerful Alexia before escaping as the facility self-destructs. Oh, and Chris and Claire vow to take down Umbrella. You seen a pattern here?
Resident Evil 4.
6 years later, Umbrella is long gone due to a government suspension and a stock value crash. Basically the lamest way possible. Leon Kennedy, the once RPD rookie, is now a government agent who's sent on a mission to rescue the president's daughter Ashley from her kidnappers in rural Spain. Leon discovers that not only are her kidnappers a cult called Los Illuminados, but they're also infected by a new mind-controlling parasite called Las Plagas. During the rescue, Leon coincidentally bumps into an old flame in the form of Ada Wong, who's not dead and once again on the hunt for the virus. After rescuing Ashley, Leon confronts the cult leader Sadler, and with the help of Ada, they manage to defeat him. Ada, once again showing her true colours, takes the Las Plagas sample and escapes by helicopter, but not before setting the base to, yep, you guessed it, self-destruct. Leon and Ashley manage to escape and jet ski all the way home.
Resident Evil 5.
2 years later, with Wesker still on the loose, Chris Redfield and Jill Valentine are working together for the new Bioterrorism Security Assessment Alliance. Chris and Jill follow a lead toward Umbrella founder Oswald E. Spencer and finally come face to face with Albert Wesker, who has killed Spencer. Wesker, seemingly even more powerful than before and now dodging bullets for fun, is more than a match for Chris and Jill. To save Chris's life, Jill sacrifices herself, sending both her and Wesker to their deaths, and Chris, understandably, is sad. Almost 3 years after Jill's death, Chris is tasked with apprehending terrorist Ricardo Irving, who is selling bioorganic weapons in Africa. Along with his new partner Sheva, Chris discovers that the locals are infected by something similar to Las Plagas, later discovered to be called Ouroboros. Chris is also informed by the BSAA that Jill could still be alive. After defeating a mutated Irving, Chris and Sheva learn that Tricell, the company that funds the BSAA, had taken over Umbrella's seedy work in conjunction with a still-alive Wesker and had been conducting human experiments. Unfortunately, one of his victims was Jill, who is also still alive and now under Wesker's control. Chris and Sheva manage to subdue Jill and remove the mind-controlled device before it's too late. Wesker tries to flee on a bomber which crash lands into, of all places, a volcano. After some boulder punching, Chris and Sheva finally defeat Wesker once and for all is well in the world. For now. Right, next up is Resident Evil 6, which features not one but 3 interwoven campaigns, and it all gets really messy, so deep breath.
Resident Evil 6.
In 2012, a new virus surfaces from a company dubbed Neo Umbrella and led by what appears to be Ada Wong. Series newcomer Jake Muller is believed to be the key to the vaccine due to his antibodies. The reason Jake is immune is, well, he's Wesker's son. Typical. In 2013, the American president decides enough is enough and it's time to spill the beans about what really happened in Raccoon City. However, before he can, there's another infection attack, and the president, now a zombie, has to be taken down by his loyal agent and series favourite, Leon Kennedy. Ada Wong then arrives and tells Leon Kennedy that the National Security Advisor Derek Simmons is affiliated with Neo Umbrella and behind the terror attacks that zombified the press. Leon heads to China in pursuit of Simmons. Chris Redfield, now racked with post-traumatic stress and a thirst for revenge after his team was slaughtered by Ada, also heads to China in pursuit, as does Jake because, you know, plot. Right, let's do this bit quick. Chris finds out Jake's true identity, and despite the awkward moment when Chris tells Jake he killed his dad, they mostly work it out. Simmons dies, Chris makes Piers is wounded and then grows a new arm with the C virus and saves Chris. Jake kills his boss who's not worth talking about, and then we also find out there's 2 Adas, with one being an imposter called Carla, and that explains all the outfit changes, and finally all the good guys win and go their separate ways. Basically, there's a lot going on, and it's not very good, so maybe just ignore this bit.
Resident Evil.
In 2017, Ethan Winters is looking for his wife Mia, who's missing. His search leads him deep into Louisiana and he finds her imprisoned by a very odd and very disgusting family, the Bakers. Ethan is captured by Jack Baker and forced to join him with the vomit-inducing family dinner with his wife Marguerite, son Lucas, and an elderly woman. After escaping and managing to kill Jack and Marguerite, Ethan finds his infected wife and develops a serum for Mia. They try to flee on a boat, but it's knocked over by a mysterious creature that turns out to be a girl called Evelyn, a bioweapon that Mia, who apparently is a secret agent, was tasked with escorting. Turns out Evelyn was responsible for the Baker family's mind-altering infection because she was desperate for her own family, you know, like all bioweapons are. After injecting Evelyn with the toxin, she reverts back to her true form as the old woman at the Baker's disgusting dinner. Turns out she's been rapidly aging. Evelyn mutates into a giant blob, like all classic Resident Evil bosses, and after a final confrontation with Ethan, with a little help from a recently arrived military squad, she's finally destroyed. And in a final reveal, the leader of the military squad that helps up Ethan is revealed to be none other than Chris Redfield coming out of a helicopter branded Umbrella. After Ethan escapes, Chris and his team pursue Lucas Baker, who was actually never under Evelyn's mind control due to a serum provided to him by the new shadowy organisation called the Connections. The Connections were behind Evelyn's creation, and Lucas has been gathering data for them. But he also planned to betray his masters anyway, like every other villain ever in this series. After working his way through a series of traps, Chris manages to kill a mutated Lucas and finally returns to base for an urgent call. And that's it, the main plot of Resident Evil summed up in 10 minutes. Yes, we did skip over a few good but not that important games, some terrible ones and a bunch of bizarre moments, but there's a lot to cover in the wacky world of Resident Evil. Now excuse me while I go set my base to self-destruct and vow to get my revenge. And if you like that video and want to see what's next, why not check out the trailer for Resident Evil Village.